Hello friends, welcome back. In this session, we are going to understand and we will see the latest Java interview questions, and this is focused more towards experienced professionals. We will cover 2-3 sessions and about 30 questions will be covered in this entire content, and I'm sure this will be very useful for the people who try for Java related roles. And even freshers can listen to it, students can listen to it, and they can understand what kind of questions are asked to the experienced and seasoned professionals. Let's get into the questions right away. What is the difference between final, finally, and finalize keywords? Final is a keyword and can be used at 3 instances. The first is in the final class, and this class cannot be inherited. Final method is the second instance, and this cannot be overridden. Final variable is the third one, and value of this variable cannot be changed. So the finally is associated with exception handling, and finally block is always related to the try and the catch block in the exception handling. This block will get executed irrespective of the exception occurrence. Remember, this will get executed irrespective of the exception occurrence. It does all the resource closure, which include cleansing the memory and related activities. The finalize is a method, and when used, the corresponding stuff is ready for garbage collection. It's due for garbage collection. Finalize method is executed just before the object is getting destroyed. So this is the major difference between the final, finally, and finalize keywords. Differentiate comparator and comparable. This is such an important question. Comparable provides a single sorting sequence. Remember, comparable provides a single sorting sequence. In other words, we can sort the collection on the basis of a single element as the name or ID or the price. Comparator, on the other hand, provides multiple sorting sequences. In other words, you can sort the collection on the basis of multiple elements, which can be like ID, name, and price. Earlier it was ID or name or price, but in this case, you can have multiple elements which can include the name, ID, age, price, etc. Remember it. Mention the features of Java 8. Why Java 8? It's one of the most prominent versions, so it is mentioned as Java 8 here. Some of the important Java 8 features are to be discussed, and I'll highlight them. You can go in depth into it later at your convenience. The for each method in iterable interface is included. The default and the static methods in the interfaces, the functional interfaces and the Lambda expressions, Java Stream API for bulk data operations on collections, Java Time API, this is an important inclusion, collection API improvements, concurrency API improvements, and Java IO improvements. All these have come alongside the Java 8, and these are all the very important features that one should know. What is the latest version of the JDK and what are the features? JDK 19 is the open source reference implementation of version 19 of the Java SE platform, and it's the latest, and it has come out in the market. It has come out for general availability by 20th September, quite recently, and many features are included, which include the structured concurrency, the virtual threads, the pattern matching for switch expressions, a vector API, foreign function and memory API, and a Linux RISC vport. And many of these features, whatever we are discussing here, we are to understand that some of them are in preview state, some of them are in incubation state. These are all evolving. They will evolve and they will keep improving. So this point has to be remembered. How do you implement multi-threading in Java? There are 2 ways that you can go ahead with it. One is by extending the thread class. The second one is by implementing the runnable interface. Both the options can be used and you can choose. What are the differences between the implementation of multi-threading with thread class or multi-threading with runnable interface? This is the question that we had the previous one, and we had discussed what are the options available. And these 2 are the options. One, you can go with thread class, or other you can go with runnable interface. Remember, Java does not support multiple inheritance. This is such a common point. And when we extend the thread class, we cannot extend any other class even we require, and when we implement runnable, we can save a space for our class to extend and any other class in future or anytime now. So please understand, when you extend the thread class, there is no room for extension of any other class. Though you require, though there is necessity, you cannot do that. But when you go ahead with runnable implementation, you have a room for extension and you can extend it in future, or if needed, you can do it now itself. When we extend the thread class, each of the thread creates unique object and associates with it. And when you go ahead with the runnable implementation, it shares the same object to multiple threads. Remember, creation of unique object every time is with the extension of the thread class option, but when you go ahead with Runnable, it is the same object that is shared with multiple threads. So remember this, these two are very important points. What are all the ways of creating objects in Java? Using a new keyword, using a new instance method of the class, using a new instance method of the constructor class, using object serialization and deserialization, using the clone method. Out of this, please pay special attention to object serialization and deserialization if you are preparing very seriously, and that would be really helpful. There can be a question on that too. We will handle that a little later. What is a functional interface? A functional interface is an interface which contains only one abstract method. Remember, a functional interface has got only one abstract method. It may or may not be annotated with functional interface annotation. This is another very important point. It may or may not be. And at the same time, it can have any number of default and static methods, but it can have only one abstract method. What is default method? It is for backward compatibility. The default methods enable you to add new functionality to the existing interfaces, and it ensures binary compatibility with the code written for older versions of those interfaces. So naturally, the backward compatibility is ensured through the default method. How many catch blocks can be there for one try block? Any number of it. What is the major rule for writing a catch block? The catch block which catches the general exception class should be at the last in the list of catch blocks for specific exceptions. I repeat, the catch block which catches the general exception class should be at the last in the list of catch blocks for the specific exceptions. This is a very important point to remember. We will see more questions in the next session, and I'm sure you will enjoy that too. Thank you very much for following my channel, The Content. If you like the channel, The Content, kindly subscribe. Thank you.